Hey, my name is Richard Averitt. I am a Nelson County landowner who's been fighting the Atlantic Coast Pipeline for a number of years. And on Friday, Dominion and the ACP filed for quick take against dozens of landowners in Nelson County and in other parts of Virginia and perhaps in other states. And I realize it's a really confusing topic and not a lot of people understand it, so I thought I'd take just a few minutes to try to describe what quick take is and why it's so bad, why we need each and every one of you to call your senators and your congressmen anywhere in the country and demand that they take action on this. So eminent domain works like this, right? Eminent domain is the right for the government to take your land under a certain set of circumstances, or in some cases, give that right to other entities. That's a whole nother topic. In this case, the circumstances you have to meet is you have to demonstrate that there is a public need, in theory, and then you have to also pay fair and just compensation. All right? Now, if the condemnor, the person taking your land, comes to you and says, hey, we want to take your property and we think this is the fair and just compensation, and you can't come to agreement, then you say, no thanks, go away, it's not for sale, or I don't think that's enough money. Then in the end, they sue you, right? They sue you and take you to court. So in October, they sued us personally, both on our family property and a business property, for condemnation. They listed 40 or 50 reasons why they thought they both had the right to take our land and why they thought this price was appropriate. We, of course, disputed all of those, both the right to take and the price. And so that goes back to the court now, and the court does what courts do, is they set a court date. But that court date's going to be set in 2020 or so. And so the pipeline company this Friday came back and asked for this unique thing called quick take. And quick take is basically the pipeline company saying it's not efficient for us to wait until 2020 to go to court and fight over this with this landowner. We want the court to give us the right to take the land now in advance of having the hearing and in advance of paying anything for the land. And we'll cut the trees, dig the trench, put in the pipe, and later when they go to court, they'll have the right to argue over those things, but really it'll just be about price. So there's two real problems with that. One is that's a complete violation of our constitutional right to due process, right? We have no place where we get to express our dissatisfaction and disagreement with the taking of the land on any number of issues and also on whatever price there is. We have no leverage later, right? When all this stuff's in the ground, they know it takes the heart and soul right out of the fight. But the other thing is the court is fundamentally extending what's called substantive rights. So there is no quick take in the Natural Gas Act. There is no quick take in eminent domain law. Basically, quick take comes from a case called East Tennessee versus Sage 14 years ago, where the court decided that it was in the public interest to let the pipeline take land in advance of due process for citizens in order to get the project built. And ever since, it's been precedent. Never mind that there are many other court cases, most notably in the Seventh Circuit, saying the exact opposite, saying, hey, look, the court can't make laws. We can't extend laws. Our job is to just enforce laws. And so what's happening is the court is taking the power of Congress and the Senate to create laws that don't exist. And that is wrong. And so what we need each and every one of you to do is to reach out to your senators and your congresspeople and say, don't allow the courts to do your job for you. If you want to change eminent domain law or change the Natural Gas Act, then do it, and do it systematically, proactively, thoughtfully. So the one other thing I want to give you is an analogy that some people don't get, which is this idea of timing. The courts have argued that timing doesn't matter, but timing is everything, right? We all know that inherently. So imagine that you came to me and you said, Richard, I want to buy your land. And I said, okay, it's November. My land's not going to be for sale until January. And so I'll sign a document with you that says you get to buy my land at a future date at a price yet to be determined. And then after you had that, you took that document and you went to the court and you said, look, Richard's already agreed to sell us his land, and it turns out it's much more convenient for us to move in November than wait till January. Courts, just give us the right to take the land now, and later we'll figure out what the price is. Well, that wouldn't make any sense, right? I mean, that's the exact same thing that's happening here. So we need your help. Quick take is a violation of our constitutional right to due process. It is an extension or a substantive right that does not exist in any of the existing laws. And we can't stand for this. It's happening not just to us here on the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, but all across the country related to these pipeline cases. Please call your senators, call your congressmen to have them take action